A fleet of alien ships glided silently into the atmosphere of Earth, their sleek designs shimmering in the light of the distant sun, the air around them crackling with the hum of advanced technology. Unseen by human eyes, a world far from their own, the ships cut through the sky, leaving behind a trail of energy that made even the most sophisticated human satellites look like ancient relics. Nothing like this had ever been seen on Earth. The ships hovered over cities, their outlines shimmering as they descended slowly to the surface. The aliens were not here to conquer. No, they had observed Earth from afar for millennia. Their technology had mapped the planet, its atmosphere, its oceans, and its varied landscapes. They knew it was teeming with life, a rich tapestry of diversity. But what they didn't know, what no one could predict, was how Earth would respond to their arrival. For centuries, Earth had been isolated, cut off from the rest of the universe, confined to its own little corner of the cosmos. Humans had built their empires, fought their wars, and reached for the stars only to realize that their reach had been a fraction of what was possible. They knew they were not alone out there. The idea of other life had always fascinated and terrified them, but to actually come face to face with it was something else entirely. As the alien ships began to land, humanity watched in awe and confusion. People gathered in their millions across the globe, standing in awe of the phenomenon. They were witnessing. The ships were too perfect, too beautiful to be anything other than something beyond their understanding. Governments scrambled to respond. Messages were sent out to all corners of the Earth. Some urged caution, some demanded immediate action. No one knew what the right move was in the face of such an unprecedented event. From the moment the first ship touched down, there was an eerie silence. Humans could only stare as the alien beings began to emerge from their craft, towering figures with skin that shimmered in hues of blue and silver, their eyes glowing with an intelligence far beyond human comprehension. They did not speak at first. Instead, they extended a single appendage, their movements smooth and deliberate. The message was clear: they came in peace. Yet what the aliens failed to account for was the one thing humans had long been known for: their unpredictability, their ability to react in ways that no other species could anticipate. Humanity did not fall to their knees in awe or surrender to the unknown. Instead, they observed, they watched, and they analyzed. There was no immediate rush to embrace or reject the visitors. Something was different, something was off. As the hours passed and the first wave of interactions took place, the visitors quickly realized that Earth was not as easily influenced as they had imagined. Messages from the global leaders began to flood the ship's communication systems, each nation reacting in its own way. Some reached out in peace, while others began to prepare for the worst. Military forces were on high alert. Radar systems scanned for incoming threats. Alien technology was scrutinized carefully and secretly by the world's best minds. The visitors had expected awe, they had expected fear, but instead they were met with a quiet determination and uncertainty that seemed to spread across the globe. Earth was not like the other planets they had encountered. There was something else about this place, something beneath the surface, that made it a far more complex world than they had anticipated. And as they continued to make contact, they began to realize the truth: Earth was a planet that might be more dangerous than any they had ever faced before. The aliens had arrived expecting an easy encounter, but were quickly finding themselves at the mercy of an unexpected force, a calm but intense resistance that neither intimidated nor cowered in their presence. Earth was unpredictable in its silence and careful observation. Humanity was studying the invaders as much as they were being studied. Every movement analyzed, every piece of alien technology scrutinized by Earth's most brilliant minds. At first, the aliens thought it was a minor delay in their mission, a small inconvenience they could resolve with a show of force and strength. The perfect way to demonstrate their superiority was to demonstrate their power. Earth would surely recognize its place and surrender to the greater wisdom of the stars. The message came just after sunset, a signal broadcast across the planet from one of the largest alien ships floating above the ground. A voice, clear and commanding, resonated in every language. Humans knew the message was simple and direct: we come in peace, but know this resistance will be futile. The ground beneath humanity's feet seemed to tremble as the alien ships began to reveal their weapons systems. Enormous energy cannons mounted on their craft began to hum with power, and the air shimmered with unseen forces ready to be unleashed. But instead of retreating or surrendering, as the aliens had anticipated, a new wave of activity emerged from Earth's side. Military personnel shifted into position in every corner of the world, and in moments Earth's global defense network activated simultaneously. In what seemed like a carefully choreographed move, the entire planet responded. The suddenness and coordination were unsettling to the aliens, who had underestimated humanity's preparedness. As the alien ships launched a massive display of force to intimidate the people of Earth, they found that their technology no longer had the desired effect. The moment the first blast of energy fired from their ships, an electromagnetic pulse cascaded through the atmosphere, disabling the aliens' energy shields and rendering their weapons useless. The alien ships faltered and began to drift aimlessly through the air, their pilots struggling to regain control. On the ground, chaos erupted, but not from fear. Earth's military units rushed into action, deploying countermeasures that neutralized the invading forces even further. Fighter jets soared into the skies, equipped with modified technologies from the alien ships that had been quietly analyzed and re-engineered for use by humanity's own engineers. Earth had known the aliens were coming long before the ships arrived, and had prepared in ways the invaders could not fathom. What the aliens had not anticipated was that Earth's greatest strength wasn't just in technology, but in its people's ability to adapt rapidly to any situation. Within moments, new strategies were being formed, and new technologies were deployed across the globe. Humanity had long been at war with itself, but in the face of an external threat, the divisions were forgotten and unity was forged in the fires of battle. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Earth was not the primitive world the aliens had assumed it was. Earth's cities had become fortresses, and its military forces had become a single cohesive unit, fighting with unmatched efficiency and strategy. The visitors had come expecting an easy conquest, but they were now facing an unexpected challenge, a challenge that was proving more difficult than they ever could have imagined. The alien commanders in orbit watched with growing concern. The Earthlings were resilient. They fought not out of desperation, but out of determination. Their ingenuity was already beginning to turn the tide of the battle against the invaders. What they had hoped would be a peaceful encounter was now rapidly becoming a test of wills. And as the first shots were fired across the alien fleet, the aliens realized they were facing a species far more formidable than they had ever expected. The battle was far from over, but the aliens had begun to retreat, not in the traditional sense, but more out of a newfound caution. They had underestimated the resilience of Earth's people and the depth of their ingenuity. Every move the aliens made was countered with an unexpected response, each more creative and unpredictable than the last. What had started as a show of power had turned into a chess match, with each side testing the other's limits. The invaders had no idea that their momentary advantage was quickly slipping away. From the shadows of Earth's cities, human ingenuity sparked into action. Scientists, engineers, and even hackers from across the globe came together in a whirlwind of collaboration. What the aliens had failed to notice in their initial arrogance was that humanity was built on a foundation of relentless creativity and adaptability. As the alien forces adjusted their strategies, so too did Earth, constantly shifting the battlefield beneath their feet in ways that kept the invaders guessing. One of the most startling developments came from a small team of engineers who managed to infiltrate an abandoned alien ship. The craft had been left behind after a failed attack, its systems crippled by the earlier electromagnetic pulse. Initially thought to be of little value, the ship became a treasure trove of information. The engineers worked tirelessly, reverse engineering the technology and extracting alien designs and blueprints. What they uncovered changed everything. The ship contained more than just weapons and transport technology. It held the key to understanding the very nature of the aliens' power. The energy source that powered their weapons, their shields, their ships, was more sophisticated than anything Earth had ever conceived. Yet for all its complexity, the system was not invincible. The engineers discovered subtle weaknesses, small flaws that, with the right knowledge, could be exploited. The moment they cracked the code, they sent the information to the global defense networks, sparking a revolution in military strategy. But it wasn't just the scientists who were making strides. Ordinary people, farmers, artists, students, and soldiers began to contribute in ways that baffled the aliens. A group of agricultural experts, using their knowledge of Earth's ecosystems, found a way to create organic disruptors capable of breaking down the alien shields with biological agents found in nature. A team of artists used their skills to create visual decoys and holographic illusions that tricked alien sensors, allowing Earth's forces to launch surprise strikes and disappear without a trace. Everywhere you looked, humanity was innovating, using every scrap of knowledge, every tool, and every skill to its advantage. What the aliens had thought would be a straightforward conquest had become a war of attrition, with each side learning and adapting at a staggering pace. The invaders, for the first time, found themselves unsure of their next move. They had relied on the superiority of their technology and the predictability of their enemies. But Earth had proven to be anything but predictable. Humanity had managed to take alien technology and twist it into something their invaders could no longer control. As the alien fleet struggled to regain its footing, the surprise was not only in the weapons or tactics Earth had devised, it was in the unrelenting spirit of its people. They had endured hardships for centuries, fought wars, rebuilt cities, and survived natural disasters. The invasion had become just another trial, another test of their will to survive. The alien commanders realized too late that Earth's true strength lay not in its technology or military power, but in its people's indomitable spirit and their ability to turn even the most impossible situations to their advantage. And in the heart of the conflict, as Earth's forces gained momentum, the aliens could no longer deny the truth. They were facing a planet unlike any other they had ever encountered. The alien fleet had retreated for a time, pulling back into orbit to reassess, but the damage had been done. Earth's military forces, emboldened by the unexpected victories and the rising tide of technological advancements, were now on the offensive. The balance of power had shifted, and the invaders began to understand that they were not dealing with a primitive world, but with a species that could fight back and win. Across Earth's continents, the war effort intensified. The initial shock of the alien invasion had worn off, replaced by a shared determination that ran deeper than any previous conflict humanity had known. The aliens' display of power had only unified the planet, and now the full force of Earth's combined might was being brought to bear. The global leaders, once divided by political and ideological lines, had realized that their survival depended on unity. Nations that had long been at odds set aside their differences, sharing technology, intelligence, and resources. It was a gamble, a fragile coalition, but it was humanity's only hope. In this new alliance, scientists worked side by side with military strategists and engineers, and civilians took up arms to defend their homes. The world had become one united front. Human ingenuity had proven to be the true weapon in this fight. Earth's soldiers, equipped with alien technology but guided by human instincts, moved in ways the invaders had never imagined. The extraterrestrial forces found themselves tangled in webs of complexity, each encounter a new puzzle to solve. Earth's defense systems, once designed only for earthly threats, had been adapted with alien tech, and now they responded with brutal efficiency. But it wasn't just technology that had turned the tide. Earth's forces began to tap into something deeper, an understanding that they could not only repel the invaders but push them back. Earth had its own weapons, not of steel and fire, but of endurance and resourcefulness. Time and again, humanity fought from the depths of desperation, but it was this very desperation that sparked their greatest triumphs. What they lacked in firepower, they made up for in creativity, and what they lacked in experience, they compensated with a raw, untapped will to survive. The alien commanders on the ships in orbit watched with growing alarm. The first few waves of their attacks had been calculated and successful, but the resistance had evolved, adapting in ways that left their forces disoriented. Their fleet, once a terrifying sight, now faced hit-and-run tactics that left them vulnerable. Earth's forces used its cities as weapons, holograms projected from skyscrapers to deceive alien sensors, false transmissions to mislead enemy forces. In some regions, the very landscape itself became a battlefield, as Earth's defenders used the natural world to outmaneuver their foes. Humans were not merely surviving. They were outwitting their invaders. As the months dragged on, the aliens began to realize that Earth was not a place they could conquer with brute force alone. The human spirit, though battered, was not broken. Every defeat only fueled more resistance, and every loss was met with an inventive new solution. While the alien forces relied on calculation and strategy, they had no answer to the unpredictable, often chaotic nature of humanity's response. The very concept of war had been turned on its head. And then came the moment that left the alien fleet reeling. A major battle that had been brewing for weeks. Earth's forces, having intercepted alien communications, launched a surprise counteroffensive that struck deep into the heart of the alien command center. The aliens had failed to recognize Earth's military capacity to project force beyond its borders, but they learned quickly as Earth's modified ships began striking at the heart of their defenses. The aliens tried to regroup, but they were met with a force unlike anything they had anticipated. A planet's full defiance, its inhabitants standing firm and unyielding against what they had once thought of as a threat they could easily erase. Humanity, through sheer determination and adaptability, had proven that no conqueror, no matter how advanced, could break a species that fought for its very survival. The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy victory, but they were now confronted by something far more terrifying, a planet united in its refusal to be conquered. And Earth's stand was only beginning. As the war raged on, the alien fleet, once confident and unyielding, began to show signs of strain. What had begun as a mission of conquest now seemed like a battle for survival. The invaders had underestimated not just Earth's technology, but the spirit of its people. While their advanced ships and weapons had given them an early advantage, they had failed to account for humanity's greatest strength, its will to survive. The aliens had always believed that they were the apex of intelligence in the galaxy, their technology far beyond the comprehension of any species. Yet the longer they stayed on Earth, the more they realized that they were not dealing with an inferior race. Humanity, for all its flaws, was capable of adapting faster than any of their calculations had predicted. They could learn, grow, and evolve in real time, crafting new solutions to problems that had once seemed insurmountable. On Earth's surface, the fight had become a war of attrition. The alien forces had taken control of vast swaths of land and cities, but they found themselves constantly on the defensive as humans mounted an unrelenting counterattack. What the invaders had thought of as simple guerrilla warfare was now a full-scale military campaign, one that stretched their resources and tested their resolve. Humans did not fight with mindless aggression. They fought with intelligence, using every piece of technology, every scrap of knowledge, and every part of the planet to their advantage. Human forces adapted quickly, using everything from underground tunnels to nature itself as a weapon. In the forests, the mountains, and the deserts, Earth's landscape became the perfect battleground. The alien invaders, so reliant on their superior technology, were now encountering traps and ambushes they could not foresee. A group of soldiers armed with alien weaponry would disappear into a thick forest, only to reappear days later with critical intelligence or destroyed alien installations. In cities, hackers infiltrated alien systems, turning their own communications against them. It was a war fought not only with weapons but with wits, and Earth's ingenuity was proving to be the most formidable weapon of all. Meanwhile, the global coalition, formed in the wake of the initial invasion, had grown stronger. Earth's leaders set aside old grievances and shared information, pooling their resources and making decisions with a singular purpose: to drive the invaders from their planet. Humanity, once divided by borders and ideologies, had united under one banner: survival. The people of Earth were no longer just fighting for their homes. They were fighting for the very future of their species. Even as the aliens regrouped and attempted to consolidate their forces, they found their superiority slipping away. The humans, who had once been divided by national boundaries and conflicting interests, now fought as one unified force. They had learned the invaders' tactics, and more importantly, they had learned how to exploit their weaknesses. The alien command centers, once impregnable fortresses, were now vulnerable to sabotage and coordinated attacks. Human forces, equipped with alien technology, but guided by their own ingenuity, struck with precision, hitting targets the aliens hadn't expected. The war was no longer a one-sided conflict. What had started as a battle for control of Earth had transformed into a war of attrition, with each side taking losses, but neither willing to back down. The aliens had never encountered a species like humanity, a species that not only fought for survival but thrived in the chaos of war. For every alien strategy, humans developed a counter. For every defeat, humanity found a new way to strike back. And as Earth's military momentum grew, it became clear that the invaders were not only outmatched, they were being outsmarted. The final realization began to dawn on the alien leaders. Earth's power was not in its weapons, but in its ability to adapt, to learn, and to survive against impossible odds. The battle for Earth was far from over, but the invaders had begun to understand something crucial. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were facing a species that would not be easily conquered. As the alien fleet regrouped in the shadows of the moon, Earth's forces had already shifted the tide of the war once again. What the invaders had failed to comprehend was the true depth of humanity's resilience, its remarkable ability to adapt and innovate under pressure. Each encounter was a lesson, each defeat a stepping stone to greater triumphs. Earth was a living battlefield, and the people on it were constantly evolving, discovering new ways to fight back and push forward. The alien commanders watched their forces deteriorate, struggling to maintain their dominance over a planet that seemed to be outwitting them at every turn. Earth had turned the war into something entirely unpredictable. The aliens had come prepared to exploit their advanced technology and calculated strategies, but the more they learned about Earth's people, the more they realized that their greatest weapon was not technology or military might. It was the human mind. In every corner of Earth, from the jungles of South America to the cities of Europe, humans continued to make remarkable discoveries. It was in the chaos of war that their greatest potential was realized. Scientists had reverse-engineered alien technology. Engineers had perfected their designs, and soldiers had learned how to fight in ways the invaders could never have anticipated. But it wasn't just Earth's intellect that gave it an edge. It was the human spirit, a force far more powerful than any weapon the aliens had ever encountered. Human ingenuity began to show its true form. A group of engineers, working in secret, developed a new generation of weapons using the alien technology they had captured. Defensive systems capable of shutting down the alien ships' energy shields and disabling their weapons from a distance. These devices were designed not just for destruction, but for disabling the invaders' most powerful tools. The aliens' once invincible ships, now vulnerable, were unable to retaliate as Earth's forces attacked with pinpoint precision. But it wasn't just Earth's military that had become formidable. Across the globe, civilians began to join the fight, creating improvised weapons, sabotage tactics, and decoys that left the invaders perpetually off balance. The war was no longer confined to soldiers and commanders. It had become a global effort, with every person on Earth playing a part in the resistance. Civilians used their knowledge of local terrain and everyday tools to create new forms of resistance, from underground bunkers to explosive devices made from nothing more than everyday materials. The ingenuity of humanity was endless, and the invaders' military intelligence struggled to keep up. The alien command was now faced with an even more disconcerting reality. Humanity had become a force they could not predict. Every time the aliens thought they had learned enough to defeat Earth, humans came up with something new. A technology once thought to be an unbeatable advantage for the aliens had become a weakness, exploited by Earth's engineers in ways the invaders never saw coming. The aliens, who had seen themselves as the pinnacle of intelligence, began to feel the sting of uncertainty. One of the most surprising developments came from Earth's hackers, who infiltrated the very communication systems the aliens used to coordinate their forces. What had initially been designed as a weapon of control quickly became a weapon of sabotage. Earth's digital warriors unleashed a wave of misinformation across the alien networks, scrambling their systems and creating confusion within the ranks. The aliens, who had prided themselves on their ability to maintain order, now found themselves fractured and disorganized. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity refused to relent. The longer the war dragged on, the more apparent it became that Earth's people could not be crushed. They had learned, adapted, and evolved with every challenge the aliens threw at them. What had begun as a fight for survival had become a battle for the very soul of Earth. The aliens had underestimated the strength of this planet and the power of its people to defy expectations. The invaders, growing desperate, realized they were facing an enemy that could not be defeated with brute force or superior technology. They were dealing with a species whose greatest weapon was its ability to survive and adapt. A species that had fought through millennia of struggles and hardships and had emerged stronger each time. And now, Earth was standing defiant, showing the galaxy that no force could break its spirit. As the war continued to intensify, the alien commanders found themselves in an increasingly precarious position. Their fleet was battered, their strategies faltering, and their morale shaken by the unrelenting ingenuity of Earth's people. They had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, a mission of dominance over a primitive species. Now they were facing a species unlike any they had encountered before, one that was not only resisting their invasion, but actively pushing them back. It was no longer just a matter of force. The aliens were now battling the unexpected resilience of humanity itself. And then, in the midst of this conflict, something unexpected occurred. A faction of alien forces, once loyal to the invaders' central command, defected. They came from a distant part of the alien empire, a group that had quietly grown disillusioned with their leaders' methods and their treatment of other species. These alien defectors, who had lived among the more peaceful races of the galaxy, were horrified by the invasion of Earth and the destruction that had followed. They had seen the brutal tactics employed by the commanders and realized that the war was not about bringing peace or understanding. It was about domination, about forcing one species to bow to another. The defectors knew the truth. Earth's people were not the primitive creatures their commanders had believed. They were not mindless animals to be controlled or extinguished. They were an intelligent, resourceful, and adaptable species with the capacity to change the course of the war. The defectors could no longer stand by and watch as their fellow aliens wreaked havoc on the planet. In a daring and secretive move, they'd reached out to Earth's resistance, offering crucial intelligence about the alien fleet's weaknesses. They shared the locations of the command centers, the vulnerabilities in the alien technology, and the secret strategies the invaders had been using. The information was priceless, a turning point that could change the tide of the war for good. But the humans did not trust them at first. The idea of an alliance with the very invaders who had wrought so much destruction was a bitter pill to swallow. However, as the defectors proved the authenticity of their information, trust began to build. They were not the enemy. Their leaders were. The defectors had risked everything to bring this information to humanity, and they shared in Earth's struggle for survival. With this new alliance, the combined forces of the defectors and Earth's resistance mounted a series of successful strikes against the alien fleet. The defectors shared their superior knowledge of the aliens' technology, revealing critical flaws in their ships' energy systems and weaponry. Earth's engineers worked quickly to exploit these weaknesses, creating new weapons and defensive systems that allowed humanity to strike at the alien fleet with unprecedented precision. The battle that followed was a turning point, For the first time in the war, Earth's forces, now bolstered by the insider knowledge of the defectors, were able to launch a decisive offensive. With their new allies' guidance, they'd breached the heart of the alien fleet, taking down key command centers and crippling the invaders' ability to coordinate their attacks. The defectors had not only given Earth the tools to win, they had given them a glimpse into the psyche of their enemies, revealing that the invaders' belief in their own superiority was their greatest flaw. The alien commanders, faced with their fleet in disarray and their position growing weaker, began to realize that their conquest of Earth was no longer achievable. The defectors had proven that humanity was not a species to be controlled or defeated through brute force alone. They had underestimated the complexity and resilience of Earth's people, and now they were paying the price. The unexpected alliance between the defectors and Earth's resistance became a symbol of hope, showing that even in the darkest of times, the power of unity could forge paths to victory. It was a lesson that the invaders would learn too late. In a battle for survival, strength comes not just from force, but from the willingness to change, to adapt, and to fight for something greater than oneself. And now, with the defectors on their side, humanity's victory was no longer just a possibility. It was an inevitability. The alien invaders, once confident in their superiority, now found themselves in retreat. Their fleet, battered and disorganized, could no longer sustain the offensive. Earth's forces, emboldened by the alliance with the defectors and empowered by the intelligence they had received, launched a final, all-out assault. This time, it wasn't just a battle for survival. It was a battle to reclaim their world, to show the invaders that no matter how advanced they were, they could not break the will of humanity. The defectors, who had once been part of the alien fleet, now fought alongside Earth's forces, leading the charge against their former comrades. Their knowledge of the invaders' tactics and technology proved invaluable, allowing Earth's military to strike at the heart of the alien fleet with surgical precision. The alien ships, once seemingly invincible, now crumbled under the weight of human ingenuity and unity. The final battle took place above Earth's skies, where the remnants of the alien fleet had gathered, attempting one last desperate attempt to break Earth's resistance. The air was thick with the sound of explosions and the hum of energy weapons as Earth's fighter jets and modified alien ships swooped through the chaos. The defectors, leading the charge, guided the human forces to strategic targets, disabling energy shields and systematically crippling the alien ships one by one. In the midst of the battle, the alien command ship, the heart of their operations, hovered above Earth's largest city. It was their last bastion, their final hope to maintain control. The defectors knew that if this ship fell, the remaining forces would scatter, and Earth would be free. A small fleet of Earth's most elite pilots, along with their alien allies, made a coordinated strike against the command ship. As they moved closer, dodging incoming fire, it became clear that this was the final confrontation. Humanity's will to survive had reached its peak, and there was no turning back. The aliens, desperate and out of options, attempted to launch a counterattack, but they were no match for Earth's tactical brilliance. The defectors, who knew the inner workings of the command ship, helped Earth's forces breach its defenses. It was a synchronized assault. Earth's pilots on the outside, the defectors guiding the ground forces inside, and every strike perfectly timed. The once invulnerable alien ship was torn apart by a series of devastating hits, its power sources detonating in a final massive explosion. The alien fleet, leaderless and scattered, began to disintegrate. Without their command ship, their coordination fell apart, and Earth's forces seized the opportunity to destroy what remained of their ships. The survivors, a fraction of the once mighty invasion force, fled into deep space, defeated and humiliated. On the ground, Earth's people celebrated not just a military victory, but the triumph of their unity, ingenuity, and spirit. The war had tested humanity in ways they had never imagined, but in the end, it was the human ability to adapt, to innovate, and to persevere that had led them to victory. Earth had been forever changed, but it had proven something to the galaxy. No species, no matter how advanced, could break humanity's will. The defectors, now fully integrated into Earth's society, were hailed as heroes. Their decision to risk everything to join the fight for Earth had not only saved the planet, but also forged a new relationship between their species and humanity. The war was over, but the future remained uncertain. Yet, one thing was clear. Earth had not only survived, it had emerged stronger than ever. The victory was a testament to Earth's true strength, the strength of its people. The aliens had come expecting to conquer, but they had underestimated the power of the human spirit. And as the remnants of the alien fleet drifted into the void, Earth stood united, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold, secure in the knowledge that no force, no matter how formidable, could ever defeat them again.